you one of the better crowds we've had. That's how I proposed to my husband. Okay. So you heard some really awful things tonight, some really foul language, and that is going to stop now, people, because I do have two very small women at home, and I don't swear now. I certainly don't use the C word. Not now I have two little C words of my own at home. How dare you? How dare you?
Where do you think you went wrong? Oh well, we'll get them next time.
Because you're a mate, I forget that you're actually really good at comedy.
That's actually
that's
nice.
right, he's really good.
So used to you just being Penny and Sylvie's mum.
Yeah, I'm used to your jokes being, Penny, stop hugging Ted. Ted, put the book down and talk to your friends. Like that's
Yeah. When our kids hang out, her daughter just chases my son around like Pepe Le Pew. It's it's quite adorable.
And I was born in Perth, and they were both born in Melbourne, which means that the minute they came out, they were cooler than me. Like the minute they came out, and I still stare at them sometimes when they do things. This is an actual thing that happened this week. Both of them started chanting in unison, "Kale chips, kale chips." Yeah, I was like, what is happening? Are they for or against, right? They are so Melbourne. They'll be wanting to be unvaccinated next. That's the last time I let them trick or treat in Brunswick.
So then, why did you move to Melbourne? Was it because you wanted to,
I
you
moved to
keep
Melbourne
going with
for comedy.
stand-up? It was for stand-up?
Yeah. It was an interesting one because I had a pretty serendipitous journey. I was very lucky, and I realised that. So I feel like I was right place, right time, right voice. But I'd just done a show at Comedy Festival that was a little bit odd. You know, it's the one where I didn't speak, and
there you go.
So I knew that I had to have thyroid surgery. They told me there was this tiny chance that I could lose my voice because the vocal cord nerves are in around the thyroid. So I was like, okay, so I'll write a 1-hour show that I could tour if I lose my voice. And it was all so it was a comedy show with no speaking.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that. So I think, I wasn't being strategic, but I think I got noticed, and I had a very good manager that you would be familiar with.
True.
Who basically said, let me know when you move to Melbourne. And I went, I've moved to Melbourne. It was just, okay, that's really obvious. I'll just move to Melbourne. So I did, and it's been excellent because Perth is a really lovely place to start out. Mm. But it's a lot harder to get to the point of making a living because not as much TV's made there, and there's not as many rooms to try out your new jokes. So yeah, Melbourne's a good place to sort of step up.
I'm loving getting older, I'll be honest. I know that we're meant to be afraid of it, but I've noticed that the older I get, the better I get at turning out my anger from inwards to outwards. It feels great. In my 20s I was all like, oh, I'm ugly, I'm a loser. And now I'm in my 40s, I'm like, you're ugly, you're a loser. Feels great. I know I'm not old, but I have stopped choosing my underwear in the morning in case I get lucky. And I now choose my underwear in the morning in case my luck runs out. In both cases, you're choosing it for the person who'll see it when your clothes are torn off your body. And in both cases, hope it's a doctor.
Do you feel that the comedy scene in Melbourne has changed since you started?
I feel like there are more nights that are good and that you can rely on, and I feel like people have become way better at doing inclusive lineups. When I touched down, I felt like maybe I was the token minority. Okay. And now I'm like, oh, I'm a straight white woman, I'm nothing. You know what I mean? I feel like most people putting on comedy nights are much better at saying, it will be better if we have a number of different voices and perspectives. When you have somebody much older or much younger who comes from a different racial background and has a different sexual orientation, it's just so much more interesting for the audience, and means they can tell the comedians apart.
Such an amazing audience, you really must come back. We don't want one of those rubbish ones back in again. We just want you instead every time, if that's okay. All right, good. Do you know, I don't usually tell this story, but I'm gonna tell you because so I used to do a TV show called The Great Australian Bake Off. Amazing. So it is. It's a really divisive show. Like 20% of people really love it, and the other 80% don't have Foxtel. So I don't often get recognised for the Great Australian Bake Off, but here's the weird thing I've noticed. It is always at the worst possible moment. So it's been a big 12 months, as I said. So many amazing milestones. I went for a colonoscopy. Don't worry. I'm fine. But I'm dressed in my backless surgery gown and my surgery socks. Walking myself into the surgery, that's the thing. They make you walk yourself in like you want it to happen. It's like a way of making you give them consent, isn't it? Wheel me in on a gurney, I deserve that respect, right? No, yeah, they walk in, hello, I'd like this to happen. And the nurse opened the door and let me into the surgery and she went, hi, I'm Narelle. I've been watching you on the Great Australian Bake Off. Anyway, well, Narelle, get ready for a very different viewing experience. And what does Maggie Bier think of this showstopper? I'm going to get out of here because we've got to close the doors, but thank you so much for coming out and supporting comedy.